Hey guys, welcome to another edition of Uncle Smooth's Man Cave. I'm your host, Uncle Smooth. Today we're going to do what can only be described as another set of game used, but this time a little bit different on the game used. We're going to do seats from Camden Yards and Memorial Stadium. Everybody's been to an Oriole game. If you haven't, it's one of the best ballparks in baseball. Memorial Stadium, I only went to one time. I was like 5 years old. The stadium got torn down in 1991, was the last season there. 92, Camden Yards opened up. So let's get started here. So first off, I'm going to start off with we'll start with a Memorial Stadium seat. So this is a Memorial Stadium seat back. This is just an old blue. This is actually the bottom of the seat, as you can see. But what's cool about this seat is that this, I picked this up at a local card show for a really great price of about 20 bucks. So I just happened to get there late and found this seat back and seat bottom actually. And I was like, this is just too good for me to pass up. So what I found out was that a former Oriole, who is probably the Mr. Oriole himself, the greatest third baseman ever. Especially around here in Baltimore, some people say Mike Schmidt, some people will say Lord knows who else. But if you're from Baltimore, you know Brooks Robinson is the greatest third baseman of all time, the human vacuum cleaner, Mr. Oriole. So Brooks actually did a signing about a month ago or so. And I wound up getting this signed by Brooks Robinson. It is Brooks Robinson. We'll see. Brooks, Mr. Oriole Robinson was one of the inscriptions I put on there. Oriole for life is another inscription that I put on there. Brooks played with only one team only. The next inscription I put on here was the date. The date is September 17th, 1955 to August 13th, 1977. Brooks played 22 seasons for the Orioles. His MLB debut was in September of 1955. I thought that was cool to have just because he played at Memorial Stadium the whole time. So for me, having Brooks is actually the date he started, the date he finished. I thought it was kind of a great bookend piece. Right here, it says the house that Brooks built. Baseball and football, two things in Baltimore that we love. Johnny Unitas helped build Memorial Stadium for the football side. Brooks Robinson was the man when it comes to baseball, and I consider it the house that Brooks built. The Orioles came here in 54. Brooks debuted in 55. He finished up in 1977. I'd pretty much say that was the house that Brooks built. And then last but not least, I had Hall of Fame 1983 inscribed here as well. Brooks was the, believe the second Oriole Hall of Famer. Let's double check to make sure. I am pretty sure he is. Yes, Brooks was the second Oriole to go into the Hall of Fame. Behind me is the all six of the Oriole Hall of Famers on jerseys. Frank, Brooks, Palmer, Earl, Eddie, Cal, exactly the way they all went into the Hall of Fame. I have that on my wall. So back to the seats. I was just double checking on the Frank jersey just to remind myself that's why. So as you can see, Brooks Robinson, seat bottom from Memorial Stadium. This is really cool to have. It's a great piece for my collection. It's kind of hard for me to display, but I have an idea of what I'm going to do with it to display it. So when I show you the next seat, you'll actually know what I'm going to do. So the next seat is a Camden Yards seat. Seat back, actually. Signed by none other than baseball's Iron Man himself, Cal Ripken Jr. So Camden Yards seat back. Signed by Cal Ripken Jr. Couldn't get the number 8, number 7 instead. So Cal Ripken Jr. 2007 Hall of Fame inscription on the top. It also says the house that Cal built. Cal was the man for the Orioles for a long, long time. Cal started at Memorial Stadium, finished up at Camden Yards. So the house that Cal built, Cal's who saved baseball after the strike in 94. If it wasn't for Cal, and then in 97 and 98 with Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire's home run chases, baseball would probably not be anything close to what it is now. even though it's in a lockout now. I think they're going to need some help with getting fans back. And last but not least, on the bottom of here, 2,632 consecutive games, baseball's Iron Man is also inscribed on the bottom. So as you can see, this seat is pretty badass. I definitely think these are two great pieces. What I'm planning to do is actually get both of these seats framed together in a big wall mount frame with a photo of each guy. Underneath of it, I think that would be really cool. Have the black outline with an orange border around it. Have both seats framed, and that way I can hang this up on my wall with a photo of both, maybe an 8x10 of both guys, and have that framed up. Thought about even putting a baseball in there with the frame, so you have the seat, a photo, and a baseball all put in there together. I think that would be a really, really cool, unique piece to have, especially with the house that Brooks built and the house that Cal built. So next up on the seats is the pair that I talked about in my last video, is the Memorial Stadium seats. I picked these up in a trade. I've always wanted a pair of seats. These are fully intact. I'm actually going to have wooden shoes put on the bottom of them, so that way you can actually sit in these if you ever come over to the man cave. Numbers 5 and number 6, I believe, on the seats. These are fully functional. The seat will go up and come down. You can actually sit in these seats. I don't know how great they'd hold up on right now without it, but you can see this is the number 5 seat of Brooks Robinson. It's got the gray on it with then the paint from underneath when they were painted. So these are my Memorial Stadium seats itself. We're going to be putting feet on these, so that way you can actually sit down in them when you come over to the man cave, and I think it's just a really cool piece to have. So that's the Memorial Stadium seats, fully intact. Once I get the legs on them, they'll be fully functioning to where people can actually come over, sit in the recliner, sit in a Memorial Stadium seat. I'm probably, at the next time Brooks Robinson does a sign, and have Brooks Robinson sign the number 5 seat. And then I'm probably going to have Cal Ripken, with the next time he does a signing that I can actually take this to, have Cal sign the other seat. I think that'll just be a really cool item. I would have loved to have all 6 of the Oriole Hall of Famers sign them. Obviously, I can't get Frank and Earl on them, but this is something really special to me, just to be able to have a set of Memorial Stadium seats. And now with Camden Yards actually getting their seats taken out for the new construction of the wall, I think it'll be great for me to be able to get a pair of those as well. So Memorial Stadium seats, highly great piece for me to have in my collection. So there you have it. That's the seat edition of Uncle Smooth's Man Cave. Just a little flashback, basically, of Camden Yards, Memorial Stadium. Just some ideas that I have going around. Like I said in the video, that I'd love to be able to hopefully purchase one of the Camden Yards seats that are available, so that way if you ever get a chance to come down to Uncle Smooth's Man Cave, you can actually sit in a set of Memorial Stadium seats, Camden Yards seats, and actually sit down here and enjoy an Orioles baseball game. So with that note, I'd love to say thank you for subscribing to the channel. I'll be sure to hit the like button, and I'll see you guys next time at Uncle Smooth's Man Cave. Take care. Thanks.